Good afternoon to those of you who are in this room. um, again, my name is Ronnie Holman, and I am a communication strategist amongst some of my other accomplishments, and I am honored to be here today for this opportunity to speak at the Men's Full Life Fitness Summit. But for time purposes, let's just go ahead and jump right in it. So it's not many of you out there, but from a show of hands, how many of you have said something at home, maybe to your partner or your child, and what they heard was completely different of what you meant? So what you said to them, okay, all right, I understand that. So I've been there too, and I'll never forget two things with my oldest daughter specifically. But my oldest daughter, I remember I was getting on her about something, and she said to me I was disciplining her the same way that I was being disciplined by my mom. And so I was kind of fussing at her, you know, really stern, really harsh. And she said, "Dad, why don't you just say, you know, talk to us sometime? Why are you always fussing?" And I didn't have an answer for her. But I thought, like, she's right. You know, why don't I just talk? So it changed my perspective on communication. And so I definitely will never forget the day that my oldest daughter, was born. You know, and I wrote about this in my book, A Love Letter to My Daughter. And I said, "Your tiny fingers curled around mine, and I knew my life would never be the same." That's what I said. And what I meant by that is that moment wasn't just love, and the meaning in that was a promise. Basically, a promise for me to show up with words and actions and build connections, you know, build connection with my daughters. And that's what we're talking about today. How can we use better communication to build stronger relationships? Simple. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the truth about communication isn't about the words that we say. It's actually about the meaning that we hear, okay? This is why, no offense to any ladies, and I've heard the panelists up here speak, and one of the things that they kept saying is the importance of communication. And they also said communication is key. They are absolutely right, because it is. So I've heard men say several times, she heard what she wanted to hear when we're talking to women, whether it's our kid, our significant other. We always say stuff like that, like she heard what she wanted to hear. Now, we can have the right words, but we can also have the wrong tone with the right words, or the right advice, but we can use the wrong timing. And suddenly, the message get lost. So the way that you say things to your significant other or your kids, your tone can cause the message to be lost. Or because you wanted to say something right then and there, but it was the wrong timing because we didn't think about what our child was going through or what our significant other was going through. We just wanted to get our message across. But sometimes our message get lost in that. So also in my book, I wrote, "I will listen with an open heart, guide you with patience, and stand by you through all of life's ups and downs." That's not just something for my daughter. That's a principle for every relationship in our lives, especially when you love someone. All right? So here's the difference, though, when it comes to communication. The difference when it comes to communication is, first, I want to try something with you all. And what I want to try is, if you're close to somebody, somebody sitting close to you, I want you to look over to them and tell them that you're proud of them. Say, "I'm proud of you." Just say, "I'm proud of you." Okay? Now, look at them again, but this time say it like you're frustrated. Say, I'm proud of you, but say it like you're frustrated with them. And tell me if you can feel the difference or hear the difference. And that's how things are when we communicate with our significant others and when we communicate with our children. There's a difference because of our tone, as I just mentioned. Now, the difference as far as communication, there's a difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is sound, okay? It's just sound. And listening is connection. So we're connecting to that person when we're listening. That's the difference between hearing and listening. Sometimes we don't know that, and we think, oh, like I hear you. Like, fellas, when we're watching that game and our kids or significant other may come up to us and may say something to us, and we're listening, well, we're hearing them, but we're not listening to them. We hear them because we hear the sound, but our focus is on that game, okay? So there's a difference. Again, hearing is sound, listening is connection, all right? Now, we also have barriers to communication, and these are things that get in the way of appropriate communication, okay? And some of those barriers are assumptions. Now, assumptions, we think we already know, obviously, what it is that they feel, what it is they're talking about, what it is they want to say, what it is they're thinking. We assume. That's a barrier for communication. Also, distractions. We're half present. The example that I just gave you guys as far as watching a game and things like that, we just don't know what we're supposed to be doing because our focus is on that game or whatever it is. And lastly, listening to reply. And listening to reply instead of listening to understand. We're listening so we can answer or rebuttal what it is being said to us, whether it's from our kid or whether it is from our significant other. And those are all barriers. Now, as parents, I'm a parent. I don't know who all are parents sitting in here now, but parents, we got to be real, okay? We slip into lecture mode when we're talking to our kid a lot of times, okay? A lot because we think it is the right way, and maybe that's how we were raised, as I just mentioned. And some of the things we say all the time is do this or don't do that. That's what we always say. But guess what? When our kids feel unheard, they stop talking to us. I know, not because I talk to every kid in the world or anything like that, but I know based on my experience, okay? So it's very important to make sure that we communicate with them appropriately. And also, something I wrote in my book, I said, encourage her to embrace her strengths and accept her imperfections, for it is her vulnerabilities that she will find her greatest strength. That's the kind of language that opens doors instead of closing them. So I'm just giving you guys examples of things that can possibly help you because these are things that help me. Now, tools that can work when you're communicating with your significant other or your children. And these tools are what I call the 3 C's of communication: clarity, compassion, and consistency. Clarity, say what you mean, okay? Say what you mean clearly. Compassion, lead with empathy, okay? We also heard the ladies' panel discussion, we heard them say also lead with empathy also. Consistency, let your actions align with your words, okay? It's easy to talk and do this and do that, but your words say something else. We have to make sure all that stuff aligns. That's what we get from consistency, okay? And you can also use something called motivational interviewing, MI, motivational interviewing. And what motivational interviewing is, it's a way of talking with people that helps them talk themselves into making positive changes. Motivational interviewing. We use motivational interviewing daily without even knowing that we're using motivational interviewing. And how motivational interviewing works is, instead of arguing or lecturing or telling someone what they should do, motivational interviewing is about asking open questions. So so the people that you're talking to will explore their own reasons. Listening deeply. Now that's to understand what's really underneath their words. Encouraging and not pushing. That's important because people are more likely to change when the motivation comes from inside them and not from outside pressure. Okay? So another tool that's a part of that motivational interviewing, I like to call hours, OARS, hours. And what that stands for is open-ended questions, affirmations, also reflective listening, and summarizing. These are all things that are important to motivational interviewing. For example, and I want y'all to do this with me. Repeat after me with this sentence. I feel blank when blank because blank. So fill in that with your own words. I feel blank when blank because blank. Fill in that with your own words, whatever you're thinking about when it comes, again, to communication with your significant other or with your child. That one sentence can turn blame into understanding, believe it or not. Try it when you get home. So in closing, I want to give you all a call to action, and that call to action is strong relationships aren't built on perfection. They're built on conversations. So this woman often said, have long, lengthy conversations. I definitely didn't know what she meant by that, by always saying have long, lengthy conversations. But that's it, what I just said, because that's how you build strong relationships, on having strong, lengthy conversation. So here's my challenge to you. Tonight, ask one open-ended question to your significant other or your child, and just listen. Don't fix, don't argue. Just listen. And examples of open-ended questions are things like, instead of saying, how was your day today? If you ask somebody how was their day today, they can easily say good or bad. But instead of saying, how was your day today, you could say, tell me about your day. There's a difference in that because you basically are offering the person that you're talking to open up and explain how their day was, okay? So ask an open-ended question tonight. And in the final chapter of my book, I wrote, you will always have a place with me, no matter where life carries you. That's the kind of presence we can create with our words. So let's build homes where people feel heard, respected, and loved. I'd love to hear from you all. If you guys have any questions or if you want to have a conversation with me or whatever, you can come out to my table. My table is out there in the Meet the Speaker section. I'm probably the only one out there, but you can come over there and meet with me and receive my contact information, and we could talk. And the bags that you receive from the summit, there's a card in there on effective communication. Use those and be consistent with those. It's muscle memory. The more you practice it, the better you are and the better relationships that you can build. So if there are any questions from anybody, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.